Okay, I ended last video, I was trying to create the shell and it wouldn't shell this out the way that I wanted. I would come up there and go to the shell and it asked me what face I wanted to remove. I'd click the bottom and it would just say could not shell the part with selections. So I kind of messed around with it a little bit, and what I determined was if I go back into my edit the loft, so the last loft that I did and edited it, down here I changed the normal to profile for my end profile. I made that none, so it's going to go straight into the bottom as opposed to kind of curving at the bottom, and I'm going to hit the check. Okay, so it's still curved at the top, but it's straight in the bottom. It's not kind of rounded into it. So I took just to show you that again, going to edit. For the end profile condition, I made sure that was none. Okay, now when I go to my shell, I'm not sure why, everything has its own reason, and I'm not sure why, but if I click the bottom of that thing now, you'll see that it hollows it out from the inside. Hit the check, and now that whole thing is hollow from the inside. So it must not have liked the profile when I had it set up the other way. All right, so now we have a hollow windshield part. Now let's cut out the windows. So if you notice, I have the right and front planes turned on. Make sure those are turned on. So if they're off, make sure you turn the front and the right on, because that's what we're going to be doing our sketches on. And I'm going to do my first sketch on the right plane. So I'm going to choose my right side plane, 2-finger tap, and set that normal. Let's lock that in place, and then I'm going to grab my line tool, and I'm going to kind of lay out where I want that front window. It's going to go kind of straight up, over, and then slant down. So that'll be kind of my front window look, and then my back window is going to kind of come from there up, over, and slant down. And if you notice, those two windows aren't lined up at all. So I'm going to undo my pencil tool or my line tool, and I'm going to actually make sure your line tool is not selected. I'm going to select those two lines, and I'm going to go in here and click the coincident, and I always lose it. There it is on the left side, and that will slide those two lines even with one another. I'm going to do the same thing with the top and make those coincident with one another. Okay, I can do these two if you're worried about those things being vertical, and I can choose the vertical constraints on those. So there are my windows, and that is on sketch 8. So let's finish sketch. We'll rotate a little bit so we can kind of see that it is inside there. They're dotted because they're hidden inside the part. And let's go ahead and cut those out. Remember, it's hollow on the inside. So if I go to extrude and remove, blind, on this one I want to go symmetric. So I want to move in both directions from that center plane. And I'm going to just pick a number that I know is going to cut through. So 5 inches in both directions will definitely get through here, and hit the check. Oh, it's asking me what face that I want to extrude. I haven't selected those regions yet. And because that's on the inside, it's going to be very hard for me to select. I might be able to get to it from in there. Yeah, I can if I flip at it from underneath. I can select those two just like that, and we get those cutouts. All right, or I could have just chosen sketch 8 on the left, and that would have picked those shapes for the cutouts. I'm gonna hit the check, and now I've got my 2 side windows cut out of there. So let's do the front windshield. So I'm going to click that face, and I'll do a sketch, 2-finger tap, view normal. This is going to be a little bit different. Let's lock that in place. I'm going to take, and make sure your origin is turned on too. You can see that little dot right in the center. And I'm going to take my line tool, and I want my line tool to start right above the origin in the center of my windshield. I'm going to come over to the side, and I'm going to turn off my line and turn on my line again because I want to start a new line at the top. Come over to the side. Perfect. And then I'm going to choose my 3-point arc. Let's see what happens if I take first point, second point, and then my third point. I can kind of stretch it however I want. I'm just going to kind of match the curvature of my windshield a little bit. And there is half of my windshield. But because I want this to be symmetrical on both sides, I'm going to do a mirror. So I'm going to choose my mirror. It's asking me to, at the top it says select the mirror line or plane that I want to actually be serving as the mirror. And I'm going to choose that. That's that plane that's cutting right down the middle of it. Now it's saying select the entities to be mirrored. So I'm going to click that line, that, and that. And that completes my windshield. So finish the sketch. And you can kind of see the dotted line in the middle. All right, this time I don't want this to go through my back window and my front window because my back's going to be slightly different. So this time I'm going to do a 3D extrude. I'm going to do a remove. Whoops. I'm going to do a remove instead of a new extrusion. And this is going to be a blind cut. Let's choose 5 inches again. And I'm going to choose sketch 9. I'll click over on the left hand side this time. And you can see that it's going in the other direction, the direction that I don't want it to go. So I'm going to take that opposite direction off and have it come this way. Looks like 5 inches isn't enough. It's only getting partially through my window. So let's change that. We'll just go crazy and go 10. Hit the check. Boom, now it's definitely gone all the way through, busted through the windshield. Hit the check, and there's my windshield and my side windows. Okay, good. Now all we got to do is do the back window. So I'm going to kind of spin this around. I'm going to hit that back side of that plane. Do a sketch, view normal, and let's try that again. So I'm going to use my line tool. I'm going to come over here to the center line. Whoops, I don't want it to start there. Let's double tap in the background. Hit the back undo button. Pick my line tool again. Zoom in. If it's wanting to snap, it already snapped to the bottom down there. Let's undo. Okay. So once you got it kind of zoomed in, pick your line tool, double tap, view normal, lock it in. I don't know why this is being so goofy. All right, I'm going to select there, come over to the side, about there. All right, hit your tool, hit it again, go to the top, go over there, and now let's take our 3-point arc again, tap, tap, there we go. All right, We're going to mirror this to the other side just like we did before. So we're going to go with our mirror tool. First, we're going to pick our mirror line. Then we're going to pick our lines that we want to mirror. Pop, pop, pop. Finish the sketch. Okay, let's 3D extrude. Select that shape. And we want this to not be an add, we want this to be a remove. We're coming in that direction, and remember, let's just do 10 inches to make sure that we're blowing through it. Perfect. And there is my windshield with all of my windows cut out of it. All right. That's all there is to it. Now, there is one more thing that you guys might be interested in. If you want to create this color to be exactly the same, let's say, as another part of the car, if I want to match this yellow color, what I could do is I could come over here and hit the appearance, so the 3 dots, then go to appearance, and then you can write down these numbers, the RGB, 237, 223, and 59. And that first one, the 1.0, if you write those 4 numbers down, then what you can do is come over to your part that you're wanting to be that same exact color, and you can just click on it and actually enter in those numbers. I've already forgotten what those numbers are, so but that's all there is to it. And then enter the first number. I don't remember what it was. Let's just pretend it's 239. Hit the keyboard, and then that goes away. You can hit the green button, and 143. Hit the keyboard, and so on. And you can see how the color changes every time that I do that. All right, and then when those numbers all line up, your parts will be the same exact color. Okay, well, there you go. There's the windshield feature. If I turn on part 1 again, it is now inserted into